Morning, Zedheads. My name is 96, and as promised, this is going to be a brief walkthrough of your first steps getting set up with Unity and your new OP-Z. Full disclosure, I was a beta tester, and I am an audiovisual systems and networking technician by trade with a focus in the electronic music industry, so don't feel bad if this is confusing for you. There are a lot of moving parts. Let's jump right into it. First thing you want to do is zip on over to teenageengineering.com and navigate your way in the manual down to Motion. Once you're in Motion, highlight Videolab, and you're going to come to the Teenage Engineering Videolab GitHub, and you're going to want to grab the Videolab 1.0 Unity package. Now, what I did was create a folder on my content drive. I'll just show you where that is. Hang on. I just made a quick folder on a fast drive, solid state preferred, for all my Unity projects, and I just named it Videolab Assets, threw it right up in there. Now after you download that, you're probably going to be wondering what to do with it, and a good place to start with those answers is going to be the wiki. The wiki is brief, but it does have all the information you need. If you're unfamiliar with 3D modeling programs or animation programs, it's going to be a lot, but you can get there. There's a ton of information of how to use all this stuff, and after today, hopefully, you'll have a better understanding of how to set it up. So our focus is going to be getting started and exporting for the OP-Z. You need to be using Unity 5 point something to develop content for the OP-Z. It says that right here, but really it should be bold and in a different color because I spent a couple days doing Unity projects in the newest version before I realized that my files weren't packing properly because I need to be using 5. You can grab that over here. I've already done it. So let's just run the setup. Make sure you got Unity 5.6.6, and if you're on a Mac, do remember, and you have multiple Unity installs, remember that you need to rename the folder that's currently on your computer before you install a new one. And here is the download assistant. As we go through the process, if you're on a 64-bit computer, you're going to need to install 64-bit. Here we are. And this is important because these aren't checked all the time. You want to make sure iOS build support and Mac build support are checked, as well as like anything else you might want. I don't build for Facebook Game Room or Samsung TV, but maybe you do. Then you click Next. Where do you want it to install? Blah, blah, blah. Let's create a new project. What you're going to do is launch Unity, and you'll see this little home thing. Create a new project. Let's name this guy 96 Cube Rotate. And you're going to set your location. I have a Unity folder on my content drive. It is a solid state. I would probably recommend that. Create project. So welcome to the Unity visual programming area. Let's do a quick little walkthrough for people who have never used any sort of 3D program before. Right here you have your scene window. If you middle click on this, you can kind of move it around. If you right click on it, you can select things in it. Left click. If you right click on it, you can rotate around, and if you hold, I think it's command, no, it's alt, you can do a actual point of origin kind of rotate. So you click on what you want to rotate around, and then you rotate. We're not really going to be using that, but that's how you use it. Over here, we're going to want to focus on today. This is your scene hierarchy, and this is where you would keep a scene, multiple scenes, and everything inside of it. So say we want, to make like the cube rotate, and then we want to have a sphere that bounces. You could have the cube scene, and you could create another scene that said sphere, and then you could pack all those all into a Videopak, and it would pop up in one scene. That's more complicated. Right now, let's just hang out with our cube. Down here in your project, you're going to have all your assets. Our assets are blank, so let's fix that. That's the first thing we need to do. So go to Assets, Import Package, Custom Package, and navigate to wherever you downloaded your Videolab 1.0 file to. So I'm just going to open that. It's going to take a second to import. While it imports, I'll just keep going over the Unity windows here. Click all. This is your game window. This is what you're going to see if you open the app. And here's your inspector. When you click on something in your scene, which we can't do right now, all of its properties that you can animate or mess with are going to pop up over here in the inspector. That's pretty much Unity. It's really similar to things like Cinema 4D. If you've used that before, it's not that much different than Notch. It is wildly different than a program like Touch Designer, but Clack is not different than Touch Designer. Although Clack is not Unity, Clack is Clack. I'm standing by for this to pop in, and here it goes. So now you'll see some familiar words. We have Clack, we have Videolab, and in the asset browser we can just click and see what's inside everything. In Kino, looks like most of these are the effects. Maybe we could do a tutorial sometime on how to integrate the effects so that there's continuity between all of your Videopaks on your OP-Z. Whereas if you load up one Videopak and you already have a sequence of effects that you like, the imagery can change, but the Videopak effects won't. That is pretty cool for live performance. Anyway, we go down here, we have Clack, MIDI jack. I'm not really going to touch any of these right now, but it's nice to just like see what's going on with these packs. Really, really cool that all this was created and delivered with the OP-Z. So to start off, let's just add our cube. I'm going to do 3D object, add a cube. And I want the cube to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to click R and just pop it up a bit. And I want it right in the center, so I'm just going to zero it out. Let's just rotate it. .45, so it just looks a little bit cooler. And so we know this is our scene. Let's click on the main camera and just get that silly skybox out of there. Let's change it to a color so we know when we pop it open it's us. Do like a little, this really doesn't matter, but I like this kind of color. And if we pop open the cube, here's where you're going to be able to add materials, which are going to allow you to add the color. We're not going to do any of this today. But that's where you would do it. Edit your shader. Cool stuff. So we have a cube, we have a camera on a cube, we've changed the background color. Let's save this scene now. I'm going to save scene as, and I'm going to save it as what it is, the 96 cube rotate. Scene, let's just make it small. And let's get the MIDI going. So we're going to define a MIDI source. I don't actually have the OP-Z hooked up, so it's going to say no connection, but we're just going to let it say auto connect. And it's going to auto assign the MIDI map as well. Then we're going to add our clack patch window. Highlighted over here, you're going to see the inspector populate with all of its parameters and click Open Patcher. And it's going to open up this awesome node-based workflow environment. Now, if you've never been in a node-based environment, this is going to weird you out, but if you have been, you're pretty excited because you're back where you are most comfortable. The way these work is by adding nodes. You add nodes by right-clicking and selecting the node. The node pops in, and it lives here. The node that we're going to add is an input node, because we want to take an input from the green knob on the OP-Z and make it rotate the cube. So what we're going to do is right-click, hit Create, Input, MIDI, Knob Input. Congratulations, you've created your first node. And the way nodes work is if you left mouse click on any of these circles here, you're going to get a wire. And this fun little guy can connect to other nodes. So let's make another node because he's lonely and he needs a friend. So our goal here is to have the green knob rotate the cube, and that means we're going to need to do a conversion because I want to rotate the cube 360 degrees. So to make sure we can do that, I'm going to put in an axis rotation, and where I found that was create conversion axis rotation. I'm going to left mouse click on value and drag it over to angle, and it's just going to kind of snap into place. Again, you should congratulate yourself because you've connected your first two nodes in a node-based workflow. Fun stuff. Now we need an output. Right now we have a knob that is connected to the axis rotation that's going to allow us to do a little bit of math and tell the knob exactly how far to push the cube around. But we don't have anything telling the output to go to our cube. So what I'm going to do here is put my patcher window down here so I can see the rest of Unity as I do this with you guys. I'm going to right click back at my patcher and I'm going to go to output. And I'm going to output to a component. And that component is going to transform out. Transform is moving things around, moving it, scaling it, rotating it, changing the position, any of that. So what we're going to do is take the rotation, grab a little wire, and pop it right into rotation. Now we're able to define the target. If you look over on the right in the inspector and you click on this little circle, you can pick anything in your scene to target and rotate. We're going to pick the cube. And in axis, since I want to rotate it 360 degrees, if you look in the inspector, if you click on the node's parameters come up in the inspector as well. You see the angle multiplier. Let's just change that to 360. Press enter. And in knob input, we aren't really going to touch anything. So save the project again. And believe it or not, that is all we need to do. Now, if you go to the wiki, let's just pull it up real quick. Dun, dun. Engineering guides. I'm going to go back to motion. Apologies if this isn't bookmarked or anything. Okay, so if you go back to the wiki and go to exporting for the OP-Z, another important thing right here, exporting video packs. What is a video pack? It's a folder containing all the assets you need to load your scene into the platform supported. And what you need to do is find this guy, and we are going to name the asset bundle of the scene we're exporting. That guy's right here, and a good way to find it is to right click on your scene and select the scene asset, and that's going to pull up this asset labels dialog box right here, and we're just going to make it new, and the bundle is what the name on the OP-Z is going to be. So let's just try, let's do 96 cube rotate. Cube rotate. Press enter. I'm going to make sure that scene assets highlighted again, even though I don't think it needs to be. And I'm going to build my video pack. Actually, don't forget to save. Save scene, save project, go to asset, build video packs. And it's going to create a folder with both the iOS and the Mac OS builds into your Unity project folder. Select the folder. Now it's going to start building. We're just going to wait 1 second. Now the way you get this from Unity into your iPad or your iPhone is iTunes. So let's pop iTunes open. And I'm going to connect my iPad. Now if you have an iPhone, just connect your iPhone. So you're going to want to unlock your device. I'm sure everyone knows how to connect their iPad or iPhone. Plug it in. And there we go. You're going to see this little icon pop up. That is your iPad. Click on your iPad and you're going to see a bunch of places you can go to do a bunch of stuff, but what we want is file sharing. And on file sharing, you're going to see the yellow knob says OP-Z. Click on it and it's going to show us all the documents that we can either add or remove. Now what I'm going to do is show you how to do this. I've already done it, but you're going to highlight video packs, click save, and it's going to give you the option to save it somewhere. I put mine on the desktop. So you're probably just going to want to do that because that's the easiest way I can tell to put your files in. So let's open that up. Inside I have 2 tests that I've already done, both with the cubes. And you can also save presets this way by having different video pack collections in different video pack folders, and you can kind of just drag and drop them depending what you're doing. If you play with multiple bands or you have different performances that you want to do, it's a great way to save kind of like presets of video packs in case you run out of space, or if you just want to have them for quick access. Either way, let's get a new window and navigate back to our Unity folder and grab our project. So I'm just going to drop this guy right in here. 96 cube rotate. And then in iTunes, I'm going to click Add File, highlight my video packs, click Open. And you can either add the cube rotate individually, Or what I like to do is just drag the entire thing over, replace it. And then you're going to click sync. And that's going to pop up on the iPad. Here we are. And we're going to open up our OP-Z app. And even before we connect our device, let's just go look in motion. And you're going to see right here 96Q rotate. There it is. That's our guy. Right now it's not going to do anything. The OP-Z is not even on. Let's turn it on. And connect. Scan for it. Connect. Now if everything worked right, when we go back inside here, this should work. And there it is. What you saw me do right there was go back to my MIDI setup and change the CC of the green knob to 0, as I had knob 0 in my Unity app. So that's, I mean, that is like pretty sweet. There could be a lot of other things that we quickly did. With the button changes, we could have changed colors, we could switch materials. It's really up to you to jump into this and be creative. But a fun thing about this is the parameter lock. So if you have, let's start this all the way over and then kind of just move it all the way down. Now press, I mean, for me that's just pretty amazing. A great thing about the OP-Z is that it allows you to do basically what my job was for 10 years on one small little device. The fact that you can do real-time 3D graphics, DMX, and audio sequencing in the same place, if nothing else, is a bridge to a new idea of thinking about like what kind of an artist you can be. Like instead of just making beats, now you can be an audio-visual artist. And it's just experimenting and having fun, really, with the different tracks on this sequencer. But in this case with the OP-Z, those different tracks on the sequencer are the pieces of even the largest audio-visual performances. There's no reason why you couldn't ball up to Lollapalooza, plug this guy in, and take over the stage. I'm pretty jazzed up about the OP-Z, if you can't tell. Being an audiovisual artist myself and an audiovisual systems technician for DJs professionally, it's pretty much the first of what I hope is many AV dream machines. And you know, if nothing else, it's just raising awareness and allowing individuals to unify their creative output. You know, in the past, DJs have just made the music and played it, and then they've hired teams of people to do this kind of work. But now it's allowing people to kind of like investigate on their own time what their music could look like with visuals. Because I don't think that many audio producers are working in Unity or considering DMX. I think it seems a little bit out of reach. And if there's one magic thing about teenage engineering, they seem to put complicated tasks within the reach of everyone's imagination. You know, without having an OP-Z, a lot of people probably wouldn't think to open up Unity and download Clack and do all this MIDI stuff, which you could totally do without the OP-Z, but because you have the OP-Z, it's like you want to do it. And they've created this amazing platform where not only can you do it, but you can carry it around in your pocket and you can play it for people. So it's just, I think it's baby steps into the future of being an electronic producer of anything, of visuals, of audio, lighting designer. And if you ask me, it's the most exciting thing that's happened to hardware sequencing in a really long time. So I hope this gets you guys on your way. Again, this is 96. I'm going to include all my links and everything down below if you want to follow me, hear my music. This is kind of fun for me to do, so hopefully I'll find some time to do some more. If you think it's helpful, please let me know. Ask me questions. I'm going to try and get back to you as soon as I can. Yeah, this is really basic, but hopefully it opens the door for you to expand your visual vocabulary. Peace.